Hello and welcome to Eastern Roman history. Irene Sarantapacina was the first woman to hold the title of Emperor of the Romans and rule in her own right from AD 797 to 802. Or was she? During the crisis of the 3rd century, there was a short interregnum between the death of Aurelian and the ascension of the Emperor Tacitus. The empire was without an emperor, but the vacuum left by the death of the great emperor was seemingly filled by his wife, Ulpia Severina. This video shall look at the events in detail and clear up some of the mysteries surrounding it. As with most figures from the 3rd century crisis, we know extremely little about Ulpia Severina. The Historia Augusta mentions her on 3 occasions and never by name, only as Aurelian's wife. Together they had a daughter. Such is the brevity of information that John Zonaras, the Byzantine scholar of the 12th century, noted that in one story about Aurelian, Zonaras says Aurelian married a daughter of Zenobia. Our knowledge of Ulpia Severina comes almost entirely from coins. It is conjectured that she came from Dacia, or at least came from the Danube frontier. Ulpia was a popular name in this region because of its association with the emperor Marcus Ulpius Trajan, who conquered Dacia. In the autumn of 274, Aurelian granted Ulpia the title of Augusta. She also bore the title Mater Castorum et Senatus et Patriae, Mother of the Camp and Senate and Fatherland, which was utilised by the Severan empresses. It had also been utilised by the wife of Philip the Arab, Ottocilla Severa. Ulpia Severina is said to have been the daughter of Ulpius Crinitus. Crinitus was a capable commander who served during the reign of Valerian. He claimed descent from Trajan and adopted Aurelian, who was a junior officer under his command. Valerian considered Crinitus to be such a skillful commander that he even considered granting him the title of Caesar. It is also said that when Aurelian became emperor, he had a painting of himself and his adopted father hung up in his Temple of Sol. Unfortunately, this tale comes from the Historia Augusta and is corroborated by no other source. It is possible that part or all of the details concerning Crinitus and Ulpia Severina's ancestry are fake. The information may also be a hangover of Aurelian propaganda designed to link Aurelian to the conquering Trajan. There is no evidence to suggest that Severina was related to Crinitus other than a similarity of names. It is only assumed that she was his daughter. It is likely that she was much like Aurelian in her origins, as common as muck. After Ulpia Severina became Augusta, coins were minted of her in every mint in the empire, except Tripolis. She is shown with her hair braided and drawn up over her head. Nothing is known about her role as empress during Aurelian's reign. Aurelian was murdered in September or October 275 at Caenophonarium in Thrace. He was assassinated while travelling to Byzantium. The assassination was orchestrated by Eros, who was a slave or freedman serving as one of the emperor's secretaries. He managed to incur Aurelian's wrath. To avert punishment, the secretary forged a list with many officers' names on it, which condemned them all to death. The officers quickly conspired against the emperor and murdered him to save their own skins. They realised they had been hoodwinked and were at an utter loss as to how to proceed. Aurelian had not designated an heir, nor was anyone ambitious enough to proclaim himself emperor. The whole Roman world was struck dumb. The army in Thrace decided to ask the Senate in Rome to choose a successor. The Senate was unable to choose a man straight away, and so deferred back to the army, who petitioned the Senate once more. The Historia Augusta, a 4th century history known for its fabrications, purported to reproduce the actual letters sent between the soldiers and the Senate. Histories, such as the Historia Augusta and Aurelius Victor, speak of an interregnum after the death of Aurelian. The whole idea of an interregnum is likely a misinterpretation of their common source, the Kaisergeschichte. More contemporary sources, such as Eusebius, make no mention of an interregnum, and even skip out the emperors Tacitus and Florian, proceeding straight to Probus. The gap between the death of Aurelian and Tacitus's ascension lasted no more than 10 to 11 weeks, and not less than 5, as the army and senate slowly communicated with each other. Ulpia Severina's role during the interregnum is unknown. Based on numismatic evidence, she may have been responsible for issuing a series of coins with the legend Concordiae Militum, a subtle propaganda tactic to promote stability in the provinces and armies during the short period between Aurelian and Tacitus. At Antioch, Ticinum, and Rome, coins were also minted bearing the legend Ulpia Severina Pia Felix Augusta, with Concordia Org on the reverse. These coins gave Ulpia Severina the usual legend used for a senior emperor minus the title of imperator. However, a few coins from 3 mints out of many is not positive proof that Ulpia Severina ruled in her own right. No source mentions an Emperor Severina. For that matter, no source mentions her full stop. Another question to ask is why some mints, far closer to the Balkans, did not issue this type of coin, clearly marking Severina out to be the sole Augusta after Aurelian's death. It is perhaps more likely that these imperial coins of Ulpia were ad hoc responses by Italian and Antiochian minters during the period of deliberation. To them, a Roman coin had to have an emperor on it, but for those weeks there were none. The closest thing to an emperor was the Empress Ulpia Severina. Once Tacitus was selected as emperor, the uncertainty ended. In conclusion, Ulpia Severina was not the first female Roman emperor. Such a fact would surely have caused far more of a stir than it did. She is not known to have undertaken any acts, and very little is known about her in general. What might be said is that between Aurelian and Tacitus, she provided a figure for the Romans to rally behind while their new leader was being selected. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and this has been Eastern Roman History.